Hello, my name's Myles. I'm a trustee for the consortium, and in my day job I'm an advisor to charities around charity governance and charity management. One of the issues that I often get asked is about trustees' legal duties, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. Trustees, as you know, have ultimate responsibility for everything that happens in the charity and carry the can at the end of the day. So it's very important that trustees are aware of their legal duties. I'm going to cover 7 legal duties for you today. The first and the overriding legal duty is to carry out the charity's purposes in the public benefit. Your charity's purposes will be in your governing document, and they must be for the public benefit. It must be for a sufficient amount of people in the public. It doesn't have to be totally open to the public, but a sufficient number to be public. You cannot set up a charity, for example, to just help one person. That is not considered charitable in law, even though it is a charitable thing to do. Your second legal duty is to comply with with your charity's governing document. That does carry weight in law, your governing document, so you must comply with that. If you don't comply with what your governing document says, then you are breaking charity law. The most important thing, as I say, is the charity's purposes, or your objects that are often written into the governing document. And the governing document will also talk about various things like what powers the trustees have to delegate things, your AGM, how you might appoint new trustees, and that may be through election of trustees, or it may be through appointment by existing trustees, and you must comply with that. It will also talk about things like what to do if you're going to wind up the charity. So it's very important for you to read your governing document and make sure everything that you're doing is complying with that. It's very easy as the years go by to let procedures slip and to be doing things that aren't compliant with your governing document. Thirdly, you have to act in your charity's best interests and only in the charity's interests. You cannot have other interests coming into play, so you can have other conflicts of interest or conflicts of loyalty. The conflicts of loyalty we'll often see is where a trustee might have a day job, or they might be a trustee of another charity, and sometimes they have responsibilities to both organisations. It's very important that that is managed properly, and usually the answer is, when that matter comes up in a board meeting or for a decision to be made, that trustee just to excuse themselves. Fourthly is to manage your charity's resources responsibly. This is about looking after not only the finances, which is the obvious one, but also about any property that you may have, and most importantly, it's about managing the people, both your staff and probably most importantly the volunteers that you might have in the organisation. You will need to have proper procedures in place depending on the nature and the size of your organisation. Next is to act with reasonable care and skill, otherwise known as your duty of care to the organisation. There's 2 aspects to duty of care that I will often see as coming up with problems for an organisation. One is if you do have particular professional skills or particular area of expertise, you are expected to bring those to the board table and make them available to the charity. If something goes wrong down the track and questions are asked, and it's about your area of expertise, questions will likely be asked of you in particular about where were you when this decision was made, or quite often when a decision wasn't made that should have been made. The other aspect of duty of care is the flip side to that, is when you don't have the expertise around the table that you need. It is incumbent upon existing trustees to seek advice when you do not have the sufficient information around the table. Now that may mean just your staff, if you have them, or other volunteers, or it may be seeking professional expert advice as well. But you do have that responsibility, and it is your duty of care. Next is to act collectively. This one's very important in decision making for the charity. Now we like to see healthy decision making often involves disagreement, healthy conflict, varying points of view being discussed around the table to make sure that a decision is the right one for the charity. However, once that decision is made, it is important that it is owned by the whole board and everybody is bound by that decision. This is often a difficult one for charities, particularly when people get involved in charities because of the cause and their emotion is embedded in the heart. It's very heartfelt. When a decision doesn't go your way, it can really strike to the core. However, you must remember that you are bound collectively. I have seen trustees actually come to resign when they cannot comply with the decision or agree with the decision, and it is a crisis of conscience for them. Hopefully it doesn't come to that for you. And lastly, you must ensure your charity is accountable. This is not only to your regulators, such as the Charity Commission, if you're a registered charity, or to HMRC, for example, but also to any funders that you have, or any commissioners that you might hold a contract with, and also, getting back to your governing document, any members that you may have, or your beneficiaries. There may be legal responsibilities in your governing document to be held accountable to your members or your beneficiaries as well. So again, go back and check your governing document. And finally, I would say that if you are also a company limited by guarantee, or a charitable company, as many charities are, then company law also has responsibilities for you as a company director. But pretty much, if you're complying with these 7 legal duties for charity trustees, you're probably doing okay as a company director as well. So that's it. If you want further information, the Charity Commission's main piece of guidance on the duties of trustees is called the Essential Trustee, and there's a link with this video for you to click on and read more. Thank you.